Now that you've got a host who's not going to let you fall asleep, you have to go back to our definition of engagement, which is to turn your attendees into participants. So this tip is really about how do I leverage my platform to invite them to participate with me? First, use that chat. I attend a lot of webinars where people do the whole like, where are you from in the chat at the beginning and then never look at that chat again. Such a wasted opportunity. We've been using the chat this whole time, but here are a few ways specifically that I really like to use it. One, invite people to ask questions and show them that their questions matter by actually addressing them. That is why Kelly is here helping me out. She's literally flagging all of your questions that come up over the course of the webinar so that I can attend to them. That's what we're here for. Remember, this is a conversation, which means you ask questions and I answer them. I ask questions and you answer them. It's like how people communicate. Okay, I like to use chat for that. Number two, I like to use chat to do check-ins after I introduce a new concept or idea, especially if it's like sort of complicated or controversial. Like when I do my mind melding ideas that I like just throw out, I like to pause and say in the chat, like, are you guys still with me? Because here's the other thing. I don't want to leave my attendees in the dust, right? I'm not up here just like speaking for myself, just like running and catch up if you can. This is a moment of us being here together, right? So we have to make sure that we're bringing our attendees along. Check in with them. It's important. Okay, number three, I love getting a little micro commitment at the top in the chat when I just start my webinar. Like, hey, this is what we're going to do today. It's just not me up here lecturing like a college professor. You as attendees are committing to joining me and interacting so this can be a conversation. Remember when we did that at the beginning? We actually did like a little micro commitment. That's what I'm talking about. I love doing stuff like that. Get your attendees engaged right off the bat by asking them to be engaged. Okay, so that's all number one on this checklist is chat. Those are all of my great ideas on how to use chat. So number two is about providing handouts throughout the entire webinar. It's another great engagement tactic. Handouts are not reserved for just your big offer at the end, whatever that is. You got to give your attendees whatever is going to help them better adopt the content that you're providing. And my best tip and trick on this is to make that content that you're giving them actionable, like guides or how-tos or checklists. Do you guys see how meta this is getting? I hope you're catching on to this, okay? All right, number three, featured actions. You guys, CTAs during your webinar is such a powerful way to make life easier for your attendees. Bridge the gap for them. Stop making them work so hard to get to where you want them to go. If you want them seeing a specific landing page because it's going to help them in their next step, or you want them reading that blog piece because it directly correlates to what you're talking about, give it to them instead of making them search for it. Featured actions also really help to validate your points. They provide evidence and give some of that authority that we were talking about earlier. Here's my point, and here's some data and some concepts that really back that up. You can present that in a featured action. Okay, number four, I love polls. You got to use polls as a way, I'm getting so excited here. You use polls as a way to actually personalize your webinar content. Don't do polls in one of those kind of superficial ways where it doesn't really impact much, right? Do a poll at the beginning of the webinar and then use the answers of that to actually inform what you're going to talk about. Okay, let me show you what I mean. Okay, so here is a poll. What's the biggest stressor for you in running webinars? Let me go in and do this poll for me so I can use this as like an example. Yeah. Okay. So we've got some, you guys can all see this too. These results are for all of us so we can all see. It's hard to create the content is winning in a big way right now. Like 47.8% of people are saying this. So based on what this tells me, I might want to spend more time over the course of this session talking about how to create webinar content because I know it's something that you actually care about. This is kind of the power of polls that you can use in this way, right? All right, cool.